guys, how are y'all today? I hope you guys can see and hear me. I honestly don't know if those of you on Facebook are going to be able to see. So if you're not seeing that, I just posted a message and gave a link to YouTube channel, okay, to see if it will work better for everybody. So I do have a little something new for you guys. We have um, Artspira updates. There is an update. You will have to manually fetch that update, and I'll show you where that's located if yours didn't update automatically. I do believe it's a manual fetch though too. So let me know that you can hear me. Hi, Yvonne. Hi, Helen. Good to see you guys. I'm thankful that you're letting everybody know where you're from. So, because you never know, the person next to you might be digitizing or playing with software. So hopefully they're playing with their software. We know that I love software. That is my thing. So, hi, Sheila. Hi, Becky. Hi, Francie. Glad y'all are making it in here. Michigan, I'll be there in not long. BJ, good to see you, or Kev, I guess is. I never know what to call you. So good to see y'all today. So hopefully you guys have been playing. Oh, Nancy, you're at the beach. I'm jealous. I'm jealous. We were in, where was I last week? Wisconsin, and it was a little chilly there in Wisconsin. I will have to say I was not prepared for it to be that chilly this time of year. And my pup just decided to come in and say hi and let me know that she's still here. So good to see y'all. All right. So a couple of questions did come in, and I'll answer those before I move on. So somebody has a lot of fonts. She's actually 70 plus, and she's separated them out and they into her different folders. And she has them in 1 inch, 2 inch, and 3 inch in another folder. And she went uppercase and lowercase. So she saved them and she's character mapped them. She wants to know, does she need to save the airplane font in that folder or just the PKF? So here's the deal. Wherever they were when you mapped them, leave them there. The PKF folder does need to stay in the My Font folder. That's where it will go to look for it, but then that directs it to find those fonts. So I would leave those in their original hidey holes, and then it's just taking that and putting it in keyboard format. But the PKF does have to stay in your My Font folder, otherwise it can't access. Best place to post live questions. That would be on my Facebook page or messenger me or send me an email at cindyhogan@cynthiasdelivery.com. And then where's the best place to search for the topics in my life? Well, that one is a little bit trickier because I don't have a spreadsheet that I keep. There is one in the Education Connection, but it has not been updated in quite a while. I have been trying to go back after the live, depending on how I feel, after the live or whatever I've got going on, and writing in what we've done that day so you can kind of get an idea. Also putting the date in there so that you know when that was actually recorded instead of saying 3 months ago or whatever. Also, the newer episodes are labeled by episode number instead of just what did we call it before? I don't remember what we call it. It's software shut in fun. So instead of just saying software shut in fun, it now says Cynthia's CSC whatever. So hopefully that helps. So that is that's what my goal is when I leave every time we do, and it really depends on what my schedule is like. Last week I felt so bad, and I was about to get on the road, and I'm like, I just can't do it. I just can't. Today I can do it. Good to see you, Joyce. Good to see you, Susan and Angie and Nancy and Terry. Good to see you. Glad everybody could join us today. So let's talk Artspira land first, okay? Hey, Terry, good to see you. I thoroughly enjoyed your group. You all were lots of fun to work with. And I tell you what, if you've not been to the Lafayette store for all brands, I would tell you to, my sound is cutting out. Let me see where it's coming from. Uh-oh, my machine, hey, whoop, my bobbin thread must be getting low. All right, I'm looking to sound here. Audio. Sound, for me, it's good. So it could be the internet. It shows that I have a great signal, but maybe the fact that I had the machine going in the background was making things go funky. Is that any better, Terry? And is anybody else having any issues? All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is talk about Artspira. So let me start screen mirroring. Whoops, I hit the wrong button. Let's see here, share screen. And let's do this. Okay, I'm still breaking up because I don't know how to fix that today. There's an echo. I'm in the same room I'm always in, and the same microphone that I always is on. But hold on. No, that's not connected. But hold on. Let's see if this helps. Let me change my settings. Okay, is this one any better? Okay. Hopefully this works. I'm on this microphone, and if I out, you all are going to have to tell me because I will not know. Okay. All right. Let me show you in the App Store. Okay. Go into my App Store and I go to search and I do Brother Artspira. And then Brother Artspira pops up. And do you see where it says update? We're going to tap that and we will update. So this is one that you have to pull yourself. It's not going to automatically update for you. Okay. Now I can open my Artspira. And I don't want to save my editing on screen. So what is new in Artspira world? If I touch new and I touch design editor for any of these options, so cutting, printing, embroidery, all of them are going to have the same feature. If I touch design editor and I tap in text, and I'm just going to put in my monogram here and say go. When I tap it, I can then touch the word transform at the bottom right corner here, this one right here. When I touch transform, I have a couple of new options. We've had these little different text modes, but now we have a monogram mode, okay? So there are 4 styles that are free: a single letter, a double letter stacked, or the regular triple monogram. Now, what's unique about those is you can pick any font style that you want. So I will choose one of those first and we'll say done, and then we'll go into fonts. So now we have a lot of different fonts in here. You'll see your favorites that you've used before. You'll see your history. Alex Brush is one of my favorites for this particular activity. We'll say done, and then you can resize if you want to. I'm going to say done again, and I'm going to resize. Resizing that down is probably not my best option, but I'm going to go back into the transform area, and it's still got my monogram selected, and I'm going to choose frame. In here, there are different frames that you can select from. So depending on your monogram will depend on how big or small it gets. So
let's grab that one right there. Now, if we look at that and we look at my monogram, it is a little bit big. So I am gonna tap and shrink the circle in to where it fits inside, and then I'm gonna tap the monogram itself and make it as big as I can within that circle. Otherwise, I need to change my frame. So I need to change the hoop size that I plan on using. If I change my hoop size, then I can get up a little bit bigger. Now, you can align them all. So if I tap them and I touch the tool, the little dot, dot, dot over here on the right-hand side, I can multiple select and I can say select all and then done. And then we'll tap layout and we'll just move them all to the center. Otherwise, you need to center each of those elements independently because they are grouped. Okay. Now, when you're done, you tap done and you can save or not. I'm not going to save. I have enough things saved. And then I can transfer that to my embroidery machine, whatever one is, whatever one is connected. What you do need to realize is that if we look at this, let me zoom in, it is not going to remove the overlap there in at least to my knowledge. Now, I haven't had a chance to stitch any of these out yet. It may. It actually looks like it has. But I haven't had a chance to stitch any of these out yet. I'm going to discard that one. But let's go into cutting. Now, if we do the same thing in Design Editor and cutting, and I say go, and I tap it, and we go transform and monogram once again, I'm going to use the same font style, Alex Brush, and we'll say done. Now, the cool thing about this is that it does remove the overlap for you there. If it overlaps, it's going to automatically remove that overlap, which I really do like that. Now, and let's go back here and let's look at the set file. So I didn't tell you, you've got the same frames on all of them. This one is a little bit more simplified. On the text element, if you mistyped your text, or let's say you were doing a bunch of these for a group of people, you do have the ability to change the font, change the letter that you're working with. And that's simply by scrolling up to it. But now there's one style here that is a fixed style. When I say fixed style, I mean that the monogram itself is going to be that font, and you cannot change that font. So the premium one is a premium font, and it is what it is, okay? And that is for all of them. Now I'm going to go back. I forgot I needed to show you the other alternative styles in embroidery. Let's go text, double tap, CLH, and go. Tap it. Now, if I go into transform, go back into monogram, these three at the bottom are set fonts, okay? They are what they are. You cannot change the font style on those. You do get your decorative elements around them as well. If it has a crown on it, it's a premium decorative element. There are three free decorative elements across all three platforms, okay? Terry, I do not know. I have not got to stitch them. I do believe it does automatically add underlay, but I cannot tell you that truly because I have not been home to stitch one out since it went live. And we do not have the stitch simulator here. Let's see here, information. Yep. Stitch simulator is not available in this part, so I cannot tell you that for sure. All right. Now let's go back to the design editor. Now this one is fun. So let's type in the word fish. And we'll so this is a transformation that we have actually wanted in our software program for a long time. When you touch transformation, you have all of these that are available. So there's 5 across and 4 down. That means you have 20 transformations. And that one right there is our fish shape transformation. So that one's kind of fun. You also have others that you can choose. You have your bulge, you have your opposite. All of these are quite fun to play with. And this is something we don't have on the cutting side. So this is the fish the opposite direction. And so you've got all of those. Now, what I will tell you is your character spacing does not do it, does not go in a negative value. It does go in a positive value, and it spreads things apart in that positive value. But you have that, and then in cutting, we've never had that feature available of any for anything. So if you go in and do that in cutting, this unleashes a whole new world for us in the cutting world. All right, am I back? I was afraid of that. You should hear me now. Do we have sound now? No sound. Hold on. We have sound again? All right. Yes, I see sound popping up again. Okay. Batteries ran out. I was afraid of that because I hadn't changed the battery since the last time I went on with the microphone. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. It is a technical difficulties kind of day. So we're going to cancel and I'm going to discard. That is the same features are available on printing as well. I don't think you all need me to walk you through that again, but I if I do here and I tap it and I go to transform, you have monogram, you have the 4 across the top, and then you have the premium style that has the set font, okay? Yeah, welcome back. It's a joy to be me today. And the warp text works the exact same way. So I'm going to discard that. Now, the font decorator is now available for embroidery, for cutting, and for printing. So it's going to be a little bit lighter on the embroidery side and on the cutting side than it is on the printing side because printing you can do anything with. And this is a premium function. So I'm going to go ahead and pick a letter and I'm going to pick a font style. I am in the printing first, okay? And we'll tap motif. You have 3 new motifs at the top that you can choose from. The gear one is pretty cool. I'm going to choose that and say done and we'll tap generate. Now let's hope the battery stays in on the receiver unit. It's working here on my transmitter. Let's hope it stays with the receiver since I didn't change it out. But it said it had three bars of it. Do, 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 do. And I love it when it blurs out and we sit there. Yep, it's a steampunk one. So look, y'all are gonna get totally different looks from this one. So if you say customize, this is where things become fun. Up at the top, do you see this little bitty thumbnail? That's my first iteration of it, okay? If I say regenerate, it will regenerate that letter, and I will get a second tile down here. And I believe it keeps 5 tiles for me. So remember what I used to say, if you like it, you'd better take it. Now you're going to get to regenerate multiple times. And as it does it, it's going to give you those thumbnails. All right. And let's say I liked number 2 better. So I tap back on number 2 and say restore. And number 2 is now the one that will go. I also still have the styles, so I can come in and do a sketch and see what that does. If I like that better, say done and generate. So you still have styles that you can select from, but once again, my 3 thumbnails are still there. So if there's one that I like better right here, then I can always go back to it. Well, that one's kind of cool. So I'm going to leave that one and we will just say done and continue in design. So then there you go. So that would be your print file right there. And you can make it bigger or smaller. So that one's rather interesting. I'm going to cancel that and discard. And we're going to go into create cutting data. So I just wanted you to see that you have a few other options that are available to you. So let's do create cutting data here. And we'll grab our character. I'll do a C again. And we'll do beyond the mountain. Or let's do Cairo. And then I'm going to choose a motif. I like the flowers more for cutting data than I do the steampunk and the ivy. I'm going to choose a flower. I'm going to say generate. Because I can do a couple of extra things with the flowers that I can't do with the new 3 ones, I think. We'll go back and check that out. But I'm pretty sure I only have that capability with the florals. So here's the cutting data that it created. If I want to say customize, that gives me some other items. When I choose style here and I choose simple bold, I'll say done and say generate. Now, there's another little tool in here that I learned about. Simple bold's the only style we have here, but it's going to give you that option. Now, when I touch layout, it will let me say how many flowers do I want. So I'm going to say I want 6 flowers. And then I can take those flowers and tap them and move them around. I can also make them bigger. And I can make them smaller. So let's say done on that. I'm not going to pop any leaves in here. We'll see if we like it with flowers instead. Now, I'm going to pick a different color. I'm going to go with pink and we'll say done so that there's some contrast between the yellow flower and the letter itself. And we'll say generate. It's just to give it the contrast. Yeah, because I picked a yellow flower, it does the yellow. But look there, guys. So that gives you, it does more along the lines of what I wanted it to do. If I want to change that layout, I can tap my flowers and move them around again. let's say I want another flower. We'll say add a number 7, and we'll make that one like there. Done. And we'll generate it one more time. It does kind of look like a spitwad. Or as we call them, spitballs, until it turns it into the floral. So there you go. Now you've got little flowers along the way, and you can say, you can go back to the original. You can sit there and pick and see which one you like. That one was my original. This one's the second rendition. This is the third. This is the fourth, and then there's the one that I have in there. Now, if we want to go in and add some leaves to it, let's see what happens when we do that. Let's add a couple leaves. I got to tap my leaf. If I come on, let me tap. We'll let it generate. I think all 3 are in the same place because it's not liking my finger. So it did not do anything with those leaves. There we go. Now let's make them bigger. Let's rotate it a little bit. Come on, like my fingers. We'll say done, and let's pick a different color. Actually, let me see, what can we get? If we go, if orange is enough, we'll try orange this time. And let's see what happens. We're going to max out how many of these we can get. Now, those don't quite look like leaves, but that's interesting. It looks like I have other things. So I'm going to go back. We're going to dump those. We're going to get rid of the leaves. They look goofy. And we'll say done. And we'll go ahead and go. Actually, let's just go back to one of the ones that we liked. So this is the second, third. Let's go with that one. I'm going to say restore, and then we'll say done and continue in design editor. So now it's going to create the design for me here. Trace outer edge only or trace by color. We want it to trace areas by color. It's going to make you do the outer edge only first, and then we're going to say by color, and we are going to say don't include background. No, why it went black on me. That is so very weird. I may have to. I may have a little thing to report there. That's weird. We'll say done and see what happens. We'll just say create and see what it does. There you go. So that is the cutting file that it has created. And that's kind of cool, I think. All right, I'm going to cancel that and discard it. And we're going to go back into create embroidery data. Create embroidery data is going to give you color base. So we're going to go once again, pick our letter and pick the style that you want and pick the motif that you want. And we'll say generate. Now that one's not a stitch out. That one is a cutout. That first one we did was a cutout. Now we're in embroidery, and this one will create an embroidery design for us. All right. So if I want to customize it, oh, let's see what it does if we just continue in Design Editor and we create it. There you go. That one's kind of cool. All right, let's go back in, and this time let's customize. I'm going to create embroidery data. We'll do the same kind of thing. And let's pick the same motif. Generate. So you're going to get a bit more detail with embroidery and printing than you will with cutting, because cutting has to cut out the hole. It doesn't truly get the concept of color on that because it's a cut file. Now let's see here. It's about done. Okay. So let's say customize, and then let's go into layout. So this one, you also get the ability to put in as many flowers as you want. And I'm not real sure why it creates them in the color of the design itself. I haven't quite figured that out, but that's its thing. It does that. So we're going to pick the flowers that we want. How many flowers did I pick? Do I have any more? Yep. Now let's add us a couple of leaves. It's only going to let me add 2, so we must be only able to get 10 elements on here. All right, let's see what we get. And generate. Nope. So since these are red, it'll be interesting to see, since I didn't change my color of my letter, what we get. I'm going to try changing my color of my letter here in just a minute. So yeah, it just gives me little blobs there. So let's change the color of the letter itself, so we don't just get little blobs. It's got to have a little contrast in it. Well, those are interesting. Let's change our style to simple bold mono. Done. Generate. So I think I like the original best so far. Yep, let's go back to style, go back here. Let's go back to the original design. We'll restore it, and let's regenerate that and see if we get something else that we like better. So I like the layout option when I'm doing cutting, but I think I like the original way it does it here. That's my personal. There you go. Now that one's pretty. I'm just going to say done and continue in Design Editor, and then we'll let it do its thing. And say done. That one turned out pretty cool. I like it. So it really depends on what you're doing. Those are the big new things that have come out, though. Okay. All right. I'm getting out of here, and I am going to share my screen in another way. And I actually will come back here for just a second. Oh, let me find my mouse. Okay. So the question's been asked multiple times about lace. And I'm always hesitant to do that because there's not truly an easy way to do lace. I'm sorry, I've got a big tangle here somehow. But I did come up with something that you might enjoy that is along that topic. It fell off my table here. All right. The Stellaire and the Avenir have built-in crocheted lace designs. This one's one that I created in PE Design, and it's relatively simple. So I'm going to share with you how to do that one today. That is one that so we're in PE Design 11, and that's where we're going to go from here. So I'm going to go back over to my screen. Okay. And I'm going to grab my shapes tool. Now you can do this in any shape that you want. I'm just going to go with the circle for now. And I'm going to change this to a triple. And we're just going to draw a circle. It doesn't really matter right now. And from there, we haven't touched this for a while, but we're going to hit the Create Floral Patterns icon. And then I'm going to go to Detailed Mode, and I'm going to change that density down there and take it out to where it's not all hitting right smack dab in the center. Just kind of give it a little bit of space, and we'll say okay. Now, your original line is there. We do not need that original circle. So I'm going to select it and press delete. All right. Now, let's see where this is going to start and stop sewing. It doesn't really matter on this one, but that we're going to change that to where it goes into the center. We're going to make it start and stop in the center. Okay. And I'm going to copy that. So I'm going to select it, and I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to paste it. Okay. From there, we're going to go to our shapes tool, and we're going to change that from the running stitch, the top one, to a chain stitch. And you're going to do, I did 3 millimeters, which is as low as I can go. And you can do 3, 4, or 5 times is what I would say. I did 3. And that, guys, will give you crocheted lace. Now that one's pretty simple. I've been meaning to look at that to see if I could make it happen, and that's how it works. Everything interlocks, so nothing is going to fall apart. The lace is heavy enough that it can hang on there. Everything is bound, so that one works. And it's super simple and easy to do. So that's one that I highly suggest that you play with, because that's kind of fun. Let's go look and see if we do. And then at your machine, turn off your thread trims for the color stops. Don't turn off the thread trim for the end color, but for the color stops themselves. Let's do, once again, I'm going to change this to a triple, and I'm going to create a floral line. And I don't see a whole lot of difference with that one. Grab this guy and go to detailed mode and see what we can get. Yeah, I don't see a lot of difference with that shape. Let's go here. To detailed mode, and let's see what we can get here. That's just a blob. The circle works best with that. I will sit here and tell you, the circle is your best shape because it gives you truly can see the shape. I'm assuming a square would work as well. But your odd shapes, I don't think are going to work too well. Let's see here. Yeah, square would work. And then let's change it to where it's not all hitting in the same spot. Actually, I kind of like it overlapping there. Get rid of my original square. And then grab this. And we'll copy it and paste it. And then change the covering stitch of the next one to a chain stitch again. At least 3 times, guys. You can have it 5 millimeters if you want. That is up to you. Now, I did try with the net zigzag fill, and I had success to some degree, but I've got to watch it stitch a little bit more because I'm not crazy about how it did. It's got some, I don't know if I've got a burr on my bobbin or what, but I didn't turn off my trims for it. And I had some, the back I wasn't crazy about. But this is interlocking. This is not going to pull away. So I can show you what I did for it, but I will sit here and tell you I have not perfected this one yet. We do need a little work on it. So how many stitches was this square? It is 7,626. If I put it at 5 times, show you. 5 times is 11,436, but 4 times is 9,531. I left that one version down on it. It gives it something to anchor to. I think it does a better job of giving it something to anchor to. I did that on the last one that I've sewn, but I have not rinsed this one out. I think it gives it more of a stabilization. I did not do it on the first one that I did. But it gives it something to anchor to so that everything anchors to it. So, I mean, I did the triple stitch on the crocheted lace, that version. Now, I also did this, and like I said, I have not perfected this particular method yet. So we're going to turn off our outline for right now, and we're going to do a net fill stitch. And we'll just draw ourselves a circle. Now, the entry and exit on this is going to be the bottom center. And that may or may not work for us. We'll see. But from there, this one, you want to convert the region to line because that needs, yes, they use a chain stitch as well. Convert region to line. So I'm going to copy that circle and I'll leave it sitting there in my copy area. We're going to convert this region to line, and then we're going to change that from a running stitch to a chain stitch. And pick how many times you want it to run and what size you want it to be. Then I'm going to home and I'm going to paste that, the original one that I had, this one. I'm going to move it forward. And then I'm going to turn on its outline stitch. And move the outline stitch to the end. And change it to a chain stitch. So that's how I got this one. But you do have to turn off your thread trim on the machine. Now, that's how I got this one. As I said, I have not perfected this one yet, so I would not necessarily say go for this guy yet because I think I have a little work. There's something I got to figure out because it's doing weird things on the back of it. So that is an easy way to do the crocheted lace. I figured you guys might enjoy that little trick. That is one that I have for you today. Other than that, no questions have come in besides the one I answered right at the beginning, and that's where to send in questions and what do you need to do with your fonts once you've mapped them. You need to leave them in the same place, okay? Anybody have any questions out there? Have I tried split stitches to change colors for crocheted lace? I mean, you could, but I mean, that's going to give you a big tie off in the back. And that would not be one that I would want to do. So, and if you need to split stitches, then you would need to Kind of split stitches, you would have to convert it to stitches first, and then you would have to split stitches. So I don't know that I would do. I mean, I could. Let's see here. If I undo and I undo, let's go here. Let's take off. Let me hide that, and let's look. Let's hide this. So if you're wanting to change colors, it wouldn't be split stitches. It would be split at point. So let's say I wanted to split this one at point. It would take off everything past. So anything, the ones that don't have dots on them, look here. I don't like where I split that one. So let's try that again. Hide that. Hide. Hide. Okay. Let me see. This one right here. I swear I hit hide. Oh, wait. It's hiding the whole group. There we go. Now it's hidden. All right. Let's watch this stitch and see where we would want to split it. You'd want to split it right there, probably. And so come here and figure out which one of these bad boys you would need. Split at point. And that would mean all of my downs would be a different color. So you could do it. But you would want your covering stitch to be the same stitch as the original. You're just going to have another tie off, but you could do it. And then let's zoom in here and see. I've got one red that I would want to switch. So let me pull this. Where is that one? Not that guy. Let's hide this again. We'll delete that point. And then take this one and move it down. There you go. So you can do that. You could do, yes, you could certainly do it in a square shape. If I, same concept. So there's your net fill. Let's, oh, wait a minute. I've got something. My hidden object was still there. So turn that back on and delete it. Let's see if we can change the entry and exit on this one to where we have sides. Nope, that didn't make a difference. There, oh, got everything but that one corner. Huh. All right, got an idea. Before we convert region to line, actually, no, we'll have to do it after. So let's convert region to a line, and then let's see if we can make ourselves. Come on, let me have you. Now let's zoom in and see if we can fix this corner. Zoom. Let me see if I add a point right there, hold my shift key down and take that over there. Put a point right there and take this down here. and then add a point right here, and add a point right here just for now. Take my shift key and pull that straight down, and then move this, and then move this over and this down. Now I have a complete square. So there we go. Now let's see what we get. We can turn that on, change it to a chain stitch. And that one, we shouldn't have to add an additional line around it. Oh, that's going 6 times. No, we don't want to go 6 times. 3 times seem to be plenty. But I would also, once again, I would copy that, select it, copy it, paste it, change the pasted one to a running stitch or a triple stitch and move it to the front so that it has a base of stitches to sit on. Okay. All right, guys. If there are no other questions, I think I'm going to say goodbye for the day. I have more work to get to. Hopefully that's helped. We talked about what's new in Artspira. We talked about PLF files or PKF files, and we talked about how to create crocheted lace. So easy way to do crocheted lace was what I just showed you today. All right. Okay, guys, y'all have fun and enjoy. And if you get around to doing this, let me see what you've done. Audrey, I think I've done this a gazillion times. Using I don't know what so simple shapes are. You're going to have to send me what you're talking about because I don't know what you're talking about. That is not, I'm not sure what we're talking about. But I know there are at least 10 shows out there where I've scanned something into the scan and cut, brought it in here, and then done that. So I don't have Lori Holt's permission to use her work to do that. And I don't know if Becky does or not. I'm not here to judge Becky, but I won't use somebody's product if I do not have their permission to do it. So that's not something that I'm going to get in there. I have done it with the whole kit and caboodle because I have their permission to use their stuff to work with. But the process would be very similar to what I just did. Okay, what I said. And if you look in the education connection, I'm pretty sure that there are at least 5 episodes in there that are marked how to create an applique with Simply Applique, with PE Design, and with BES4. So I tried to use all of them. So I would go back and look at some of the old shows. But I mean, bottom line is, it is not. Let me go grab one. I mean, if you go to your scan and cut tab and you say import and you import that shape, okay, here's one that I've scanned. This is from the whole kit and caboodle. I'm going to come in and I'm going to change my size to be 240 by 240 so we have a little room to see. All right. So this is the shape. I'm going to ungroup it. And then I would put them in the order that I want them to go. That would be the first thing I would do. So I would do my head, my nose, my 2 leaves, and then my flower. And then I can grab the whole thing and I can say applique width. Choose the width you want your zigzag stitch to be, or if you wanted a blanket stitch, change it to an E stitch. I'm going to go with a zigzag for now. You can choose your density. Usually I will choose about 5. You can choose to replace or to add. You want to replace. We're going to say, okay. Then I usually come in and I change my covering stitch color so I can see what I'm working with. We're going to make our bunny kind of a bright yellow today. Oh, he doesn't need a green nose. We'll make it a black nose. And then my leaves. I held down my control key to grab those 2 pieces of leaves. And then my flower, whatever color I want my flower to be. We'll make it pink. All right. Now, you want to get rid of the stitches that are underneath, that are traveling underneath where you're going, but you still want to have the fabric. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to ungroup the bunny rabbit. In order to split at point, we have to ungroup the bunny rabbit. And then I'm going to come to the bunny rabbit and we're going to grab its tack down stitches and we're going to go to select point. Right mouse click and say split at point where you want it to go away and go to the opposite side of that area and say split at point. Now, if you look in your plus sign here, you'll see that little area right there. Double click on it, move your cursor in, hit the select point tool, move your cursor in and press delete. Do the same thing for the covering stitch. Select it, select point, right mouse click, split at point, right mouse click the opposite side, split at point, and then go back in here, select it, select patterns icon, move your cursor into the window and press delete. So now you're still going to have your shape cut out, but the heavy, bulky stitches are not going to be there. The first leaf, we'll do the same thing for it. I'm going to come and grab the leaf shape, go select point, right mouse click, split at point, right mouse click the opposite side, split at point, and then hit the plus sign. You'll see that the little piece that you cut off, select point and delete. Do the same thing for the covering stitch. Select point, right mouse click, split at point, go to the opposite side, right mouse click, split at point. And then there's your little dibbly doo. Select it and delete. Do the same thing for each of the pieces where you want to remove overlaps. Now this guy right here is kind of tricky, but truly you wouldn't want it to stitch that little segment of stitches because that would be under your leaf. So let's come and grab our tack down stitch for the bunny rabbit again. Select point. And I would actually probably move that in just a little bit because you want to make sure that it's not going to get rid of part of the covering stitch you need. Split at point. Grab it again. Oh, not that one right there. Select point and come to this end and split at point. Then select it. Select pattern. Delete. Do the same thing for the covering stitch. I'll move it in just a hair. Split at point. Actually, the easiest way to do that one is just to delete that point. Then we don't have to go over there and find it. So now the bulk of that is gone, but this needs to come down just a little bit. You do need those stitches to be covered. And you do the same thing here. Select it, move your cursor in, delete. Then grab your tack down, because you can see the tack down still there. Select point. Select that area, hit the select patterns icon, and then press delete on the keyboard. Now your overlaps are removed. You'll still have your tack down, you'll still have your placement stitches, but everything that you want will be there. Now, you can also go in and let's say we want something to decorate the center of that flower. So you can come in and you can grab your circle drawing tool and you can come in and grab, let's say you wanted a motif in there or just a fill stitch. You can come in and put that in. I would change my color to where it's something a little brighter. Maybe we do bright orange. And then if you want whiskers, shape drawing tool, you can either draw them by hand. So this is freehand drawing. Now there are no stitches assigned to that because the last time let me undo that last one. That last one's pretty bad. I personally would do this tool. And we'll change it to a triple stitch. And let's come here and grab this one right here and rotate it a little bit. Now, personally, I would then come in and go my entry exit points and I would change that for each line to where they're all going to start and stop in the same place. I would change those from pink to black. Oops, I need to grab them all. Okay, so now all of those are there. I would group them. So I'd select them and say Control G to group. Then go here to arrange copy and do a vertical mirror copy and drop them on them and move them to so before your nose. I mean, that's how I would do it, which means I would probably want to move my flower to so on my nose. And just drag it where you want it to go. And there you go. Does that make sense? Hopefully that helps you out a little bit. I mean, this process is the same. You scan in your pieces, you scan to transfer to Canvas workspace, and then you arrange them as you want, or you can have the individual parts brought and bring them over here individual and layer them the way you want them to. It's up to you, however you want to do it. Okay. So there you go. All right, guys, it is over our hour, so I am going to say goodbye. Y'all have a great rest of your day. And ooh, what is next week? Hold on, let me look and see what my schedule is. Hold on. What's happening next week? Yes, I should be able to be live next week. So should see you next Tuesday. All right. All right. Y'all have a great rest of your week. I hope to see you then. Bye bye.